But what we're watching is The Friend, possibly the blandest, most boring title of the year. Let's see if it was a bland and boring movie. Zach, I think you were the last one to see it. You were the one that decided this was the one we were going to see. So you get to talk about it first.
Todd decided.
I was the one that suggested it.
He suggested it, but you didn't like any of the other ideas. So
yes, I did. I wanted to go with the Bob Trevino movie, but
we couldn't get there.
I can start this.
Yeah,
Todd can start it. Todd, start it.
Todd's suggestion.
Tell us about The Friend.
Okay.
It really should have been called The Dog. I mean, let's face it.
Yeah.
But
all right, this is directed by Scott McGehee and David Siegel. They've had a few movies, or they've had some movies. Montana Story was, I think, their last one, and they did a movie. Zach was a big fan of What Maisie Knew. I think it was in his top 10 that year, and some other stuff. Was it The Business of Strangers? No, that was something they were just the movie they produced it. But they're a directing duo. This stars Naomi Watts. She plays Iris, and she's a writer who her friend Walter, played by Bill Murray, suddenly dies and evidently leaves his Great Dane Apollo, played by Bing, to her in his will. Kind of, sort of, I guess. It's sort of vague, but she lives in an apartment that allows no pets. She isn't prepared to have anyone else in her life, and she genuinely has no idea how to treat a dog. And the movie is also set in New York City, so it also makes it more difficult. Like, there's no big yards. She has to walk them down the sidewalk and stuff. But Iris also has a host of friends and colleagues that give her little to no help. And the killer supporting cast of those characters is my girl, Carla Gugino, Constance Wu, Ann Dowd, Josh Peiss, Owen Teague, who is from Montana Story, and Oscar winner Tom McCarthy. But Dr. Bob. My favorite performance, though, is from Sarah Pidgeon. She plays Walter's daughter, Val. I was not familiar with her at all, but she was a different element in the movie. Like, she kind of reminded me of like a young Juliette Lewis or something like that. I wanted more of her character. But the movie opens with a title font, music choice, and a shot that just immediately brings to mind Woody Allen. I think if he were to make a movie about dogs, it probably would be something like this. It's like funny, but it's not like hilarious. It's highbrow, but it's not pretentious. The characters have long conversations where they just like talk about random things while walking through New York, and I guess it works. I mean, I've never, maybe that's all there is to do in New York. I don't know. I've never been there, but Naomi Watts is really good in this. She's having a bit of a resurgence, I guess. It's like she was in that movie The Desperate Hour a few years ago that apparently everyone either hated or didn't see, but I really liked it. I reviewed it on the podcast. And she reminds us here that she was once a big star and capable of carrying a movie. She's got 2 Oscar nominations to this point, and but it's been 13 years or something since her last one. I mean, she also looks terrifyingly like Helen Mirren in this movie. Like, maybe she's older than I thought, but like, damn, she looks like Helen Mirren. But the movie I kept thinking about when watching this was Broken Flowers. Bill Murray has said that that's like the movie he thinks is the best thing he ever did, and I actually agree with him. It has a similar feeling of like watching him and in the women in his life reflecting on their time together. Murray doesn't necessarily have a big part in this, but he leaves an impact because it's not a typical Bill Murray role necessarily. Now about the dog, because the dog is a selling point of this movie. It's not Channing Tatum's dog. I mean, although the basic premise isn't that far off. It's also shockingly not like Marley and Me. Like, there's so many times when you like that's something will happen with the dog and you think it's going to be something cheap, but then it goes in a different direction. It's a great dog. Like, it's a big, beautiful dog, the best kind of dog. And it works here because for dramatic and emotional weight, because Great Danes are so expressive that it works as a counterpart because the woman character is she represses her feelings so much. And I don't know, it's a movie about friendship and grieving more than it is about the dog, and I really kind of appreciate that. The main issue with this movie is it's rated R, which makes no sense, and I will prevent it from ever like having a shelf life. Like, dog movies need to be for the whole family, and this one actually is, but the rated R tag is going to kill it from having any chance of being like fired up by like homes like eventually, because nobody's seeing this in the theater. It's a shame though, because it's a really good movie. I'm at a really high 3 stars on this. I was digging this from the get-go.
All right, Todd's at a high 3 stars. I was sitting right next to him for this, and we would randomly like lean over and whisper stuff to each other, like, it's Dr. Bob. And she looks like Helen Mirren. And I think my comment to that was, so the actress who played Princess Di grew up to look like the actress that played Queen Elizabeth. That was kind of an interesting observation. She had to be wearing the beret. She wasn't wearing the beret. She didn't look like Helen Mirren. But when she did, I totally saw it.
Her facial structure still does, but it wasn't as obvious as when you couldn't see her hair.
I love this movie. This is the first 2025 movie to cross the 3-star barrier into 3.5 stars for me. So it's the best movie I've seen so far this year. It's funny, but like real life funny. Like it's not going for jokes. It's definitely highbrow. I mean, especially when you're talking about East Coast, New York City intellectual types, book writers, things like that. You're going to have some highbrow stuff, and it works. You have the voiceover of like reading manuscripts, which also works. But I mean, let's face it, this movie is great because that dog is amazing, and the movie gets dogs, especially like Todd and I grew up with Great Danes. This movie understands not only dogs, but it understands Great Danes, how they interact, what kind of dog that they are. The dog makes the movie so much more. And you don't get a ton of Bill Murray in this, but the little bit you do get is beautiful. And yeah, Naomi Watts carries the movie. It was a great watch. It really was. Did it have to be as long as it was? I don't know. I kept on watching it and like, how do we have that much movie left? But it filled the time well. So 3.5 stars. I really, really enjoyed The Friend. All of it except for the title. And less than 500 people have seen this, according to IMDb. So, and it made how much? Hold on. It made 1.6 at the box office this week in its second week, which puts it at a total of 1.7 million for its box office run.
Well, it was only in two screens its opening week.
Yeah. So
shout out to the childless adults out there who supported this movie, who did not go to the other big release this weekend.
Or me that just left the kids at home.
That too.
All right, Zach, what'd you think? Are we thrice
All
approved?
right. So I like Naomi Watts in this movie. I like both her as an actress and I like the character. I definitely like the dog in the movie. I like the milieu of the movie with upper crust intellectuals, and I like the idea of overcoming grief. I did not like the movie. Now, why didn't I like the movie? In a word, sappy, schmaltzy. The movie has a really interesting... Actually, you know what? I'll even go so far as to say the movie has 2 interesting things going for it. The first thing going for it is obviously Naomi Watts and the dog, Bing. And they have some really good scenes together. That dynamic of the dog on the bed, and then she goes to the vet. By the way, favorite minor character in the movie is the vet, who says, do not let the dog on the bed. The dog needs to know who's boss. That's a good scene. I like the dynamic of the bed and any scene with Naomi Watts and the dog works. All right. Like if you've ever watched Carol Ballard's The Black Stallion, like that's the kind of movie I wanted. Just her and the dog. What's kind of interesting is that the other shit in this movie that really didn't belong actually isn't that bad either. It's just a different movie. It's Matt Damon. What movie is this? It's merging 2 really different ideas, because on the one hand, you got the woman and the dog, which is cool. On the other hand, you have this complex, complicated man who's been accused of doing very nefarious things, and we have to kind of commemorate his life. And he has a lot of mistresses and wives out there. And that's kind of interesting too, but it just doesn't fit in the story, in part because the movie doesn't really commit to going into the whole backstory. Like we see these characters maybe 1 or 2, sometimes 3 times. They kind of pop up like sitcom side characters. Like, oh, here's Ann Dowd again. And here's Constance Wu. And 20 minutes later, she'll come back and make some comic remark. The movie doesn't really fulfill what it tries to set out. And it's a movie that's supposed to be about grief and about loss. And it kind of just does that as window dressing for, sweet scenes involving a woman and a dog. Okay. Now, the movie does have an interesting conflict. What do you do with a huge dog when you're in a small rent-controlled apartment? I'm sorry, but the movie totally lets it off the hook. Okay. It pulls a Denny Green. We left them off the hook. This movie should have gone to something a little bit more creative than the way that it solves the problem, which is a kind of obvious way and frankly, kind of an unrealistic way as well. And I don't know, like the audience in this movie, which was all 65-year-old women. I mean, shout out, love the octogenarians out there, but they loved the dog. Anytime the dog was on the screen, they gave it oohs and ahs. I wanted to tell them you're oohing and ahhing at a screen. Okay. There's not an actual dog there. I'm a cynic. I'm an asshole. I'm the guy who gave Thelma thumbs down. I'm also giving this shit thumbs down. Now, what's unfortunate about it is I really do like these directors. Okay. I really like what Macy knew so much. I even own it on Blu-ray. I like The Deep End. I like B Season. But in this particular point with this movie, I felt like they were making a very mainstream Hallmark card movie that would appeal to mass audiences. There was nothing subversive about this movie. It tries to be witty. It tries to capture the New York intellectual scene, but again, in a very superficial way. I like Naomi Watts' character in the movie. In a way, I almost am disappointed because there are so many elements in this movie that I like that I wish they had more balls to do. Maybe they should have taken some of Bing's balls because they are oversized. He could have spread the wealth to these directors. I'm giving it a very half-hearted 2 stars, mostly for the incredible dog acting by Bing. I would agree with Todd. Bing is a star in the making. He should win the Snoop Dog of the Year award from Anatomy of a Fall. That needs to be a Pinot Award. He's great.
Was a disaster. That was totally unfair. That whole I don't understand that at all. Like you like both parts of the movie, but you don't like the movie because it's I don't know, whatever.
It's schmaltzy. It's not
schmaltzy, and that's why I liked it. I liked it because it wasn't typical. It wasn't Marley and Me. It wasn't trying to be mainstream. It wasn't trying to be crowd pleasing. It was trying to be real. And like I said, it's like a Woody Allen movie. This is what a Woody Allen dog movie would look like, and I think it really works. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't kill the dog, Like I mean, there's so many times when stuff like that could have happened, and it could have been like played for a tear-jerking thing. And they even mention Old Yeller and shit, and they don't. It's not like that. That's not this movie.
This movie, the vibe this movie's going for is The Accidental Tourist, which most of the people in the audience were old enough to remember. And that movie had wonderfully quirky characters and had a realistic portrayal of grief. This movie has a few cameo appearances by Bill Murray. I mean, the reconciliation between Bill Murray and Naomi Watts in this movie was outrageous. Every scene with Naomi Watts, here's what I will give you. Every scene with Naomi Watts and the dog worked. Take a supercut of just those scenes, you got a 3-star movie. The other shit, as interesting as it potentially could have been,
it's like 2/3 of the movie. So 2/3 of the movie is great.
Not
the other
quite
third of the movie you like
is good. Yeah,
is good.
There's no way that's a 2-star rating, but
yeah,
I mean, whatever. Like that. This is
with the dog
obviously. So
absolutely not. No way.
If you're saying the primary conflict in the movie is what to do with the apartment, you're missing the whole point of the thing.
And to say
that it's predictable and a cop out, it's exactly where it needed to go because that's exactly what it is.
Are you telling me that you think it's realistic that how Naomi Watts solves the problem is either realistic or imaginative? Like, and I know this movie's based on books, so I can't entirely.
It's realistic, obviously. That they even say that they're like, yeah, this is the way things are. Like, there's nothing you could do. Like they say that. And yeah, you absolutely could do that. But somebody who has no idea how to treat a dog and has no idea what to do with their own life, let alone somebody else's life, is not going to think about like the easiest solutions you can come up with.
It's a cop-out. And make Bing a pit bull, by the way. Then you have a more... Because people hate pit bulls. Everyone loves Bing. Everyone looks at Bing. They love him. The super loves him. Make Bing a less likable dog.
His name's Apollo.
Apollo. Yes, excuse me. Bing /
The dog's actual name is Bing. In the movie, he's Apollo, which is a great Dane name.
If you want a good dog movie, check out Dog. With Todd mentioned it, Channing Tatum. That movie had a real bite to it. You see what I did there? Bad pun. But that was like a really good dog movie.
Nothing. It definitely wasn't a movie where it's one person and their dog working through grief and working through loss and processing things with weird, quirky characters that come in and out of it that distract from the main thing of there being a dog and his owner that's not really his owner, but kind of now his owner, and they don't really know what to do with it. Yeah, I wonder why that one is such a better movie than this one, which is the exact same movie, except you got a better dog and you've got better performances at the heart of it. Well done, Zach.
Yes.
I disagree, Gary, but I do. Don't let your dogs on beds. I do agree with the message of the movie. Can't let that happen.
My dog is also very committed to this cause too.
Dude.
I was not expecting to get this excited. This is kind of fun. I enjoy it. I will give the movie. I want to give the movie like a half-star bump just because it meant that I didn't have to see the Minecraft movie. I'll give the movie some credit for that. What did you guys?
I should bust out a review sometime. Like, you know what? I love the first half of this movie, and I really dug the second half of this movie, which is why I hated the entire thing. Like
No,
that, I need to do
trying-
one of those sometime and
what I
just
was
see
trying to
how
say was-
dumb it sounds to Zach.
There's some good parts of this movie, but it doesn't fit. And the parts of the movie that don't work had potential to be interesting, but the movie never developed it because that was a different movie. It was a strange hybrid of a good concept and what could have been a good concept, but they never meshed well. But we're talking way too much about this movie. I mean,
It's
you
showing
guys,
how everyone processes grief in different ways.
yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that. That part of the movie was interesting, and I think Naomi Watts is really good in the movie, but it just the movie didn't work. It was way too sappy. Way too sappy. Give me something real. And I didn't like the resolution. But I'm repeating myself. You guys like it. Most people like it. It's getting good reviews. Hey, it's certainly better than Minecraft. I'll give you that.
Even though no one's seeing it. Go find this movie. It's worth a watch. It's called The Friend.
I have no idea why it's
And-
rated R. Like,
That's
was
the
there
F-bomb
swearing
in
in
it.
it?
Yeah, I had a few F-bombs.
Yeah.
And that's it,
But-
right? I mean,
Yeah.
I remember
And
that,
some
like
dog
the
testicles.
story that she was telling about Bill Murray. I remember that F-bomb, but I thought that was it. And I was like, why is this rated R?
It's got a couple in it, but not much. But yeah, I think that's really all it is. All right. I'm giving it 3.5 stars. Todd's giving it 3 stars. Zach is giving it 2 stars. It's in theaters.
That's laughable.
Probably only in theaters this week is my guess, but